Hi, hello everybody that'll be watching this. We're two members of the DNR Knights. I'm Liam, and
And I am Q.
Q. Yeah. Just Q, just only Q.
Yeah,
there's no
it's
longer,
easiest.
Yeah. So let's see. We're going to be talking today about some of the responses that you guys submitted to our weekly discussions on the Reddit. Q and I run the Reddit for Dungeons and Randomness, and we put up a weekly discussion post, and we talk about it, and you guys talk about it, and you leave comments for us. And we're just going to go over the comments, talk about what we think, what you guys are thinking about, and see how that sort of goes together. We're hoping to make this into a monthly thing. Just because it's kind of cool to do. It's a great way to touch base with you guys, the fan base. So that's nice, and sort of get the ball rolling on discussions about the show and that sort of a thing. Let's see.
Yeah.
So I got the first one here. I'm actually this is on the question about rules changes. Like how Jason is adjusting the rules of 5th edition to better fit Theria. And I'm the 7th wrote, I'm actually a big fan of the initiative reroll. It makes it harder to meta in fights. My only concern is it could potentially make it slow down people early in a round, but that's literally hunting for an issue. In practice, I find it fun.
Yeah.
Q, thoughts?
I pretty much agree because I really like that ability, and I brought it up to my players and thought about utilizing it myself. The only issue that they had is, well, if you have a high initiative, you might not be going first. And I'm like, well, if you have a high initiative, you roll again and you still might be going first. So,
yeah. Sorry, go.
No, continue. Go for it.
Well, I was just going to say, I know Rob, who plays Giolo Fane in Group 3, Group Firebane. I know that he is not a fan of it.
Despise it with a passion.
Yeah, exactly. Not a fan is an understatement. Because he feels that it makes it harder to work together as a team and have group cohesion because it's less predictable. So what do you think about that?
In a general sense, I completely agree because, yeah, it eliminates telegraphing. But, technically there's always relatively meta discussions that happen. So, with a little bit of setup, you're like, okay, this is what the initiatives are now. We got to switch up the plan a little bit. Quick discussion, figure it out type of thing.
Yeah. It also does sort of prevent metagaming, which is I don't think that's the intention. I think Jason just wants to shake things up, but it does help with that a little bit. Which,
yeah.
DNR is definitely not immune to.
Oh yeah, it's random for sure.
All right. Let's see. U/sinning saint 222 says, I think it's interesting, but it's going to cause a lot of character deaths in this arc. I know it is just as likely to save a party member, but with the way these guys have been rolling, ellipses, it does add to the randomness of dungeon randomness, which puts more stress on Jason to be able to keep some fluidity in the storytelling. But he's a terrific DM, so I think all in all it's a net positive. I think we can all agree that Jason's a pretty good DM. I think that's yeah. The idea that it'll cause more character deaths, I don't know if that's necessarily true. It'll definitely keep the party a little more separated, which is one of the reasons that I think things went quite as poorly as they did when Firebrand attacked that gambling ring.
Yeah.
That combined with bad rolls, of course.
Yes,
but I don't know. I don't know if it'll necessarily cause more character deaths. What do you think?
There's of course always that opportunity, but it's definitely a both ways thing. I guess the main issue you would see is like a very strong character going at the bottom and then at the top of a round, but it could just as easily be reversed, as in shades of the vampiress fight. But say someone's a paladin. They go at the end of the round, pump a bunch of smites. They go at the beginning of the round, pump a bunch of smites. It changes the combat very largely. So it's really just that theme of randomness that we're keeping up with. But I don't think it would necessarily amount to more character deaths because of that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I didn't even consider the idea that Like one could go conceivably at the end and at the beginning of the round and just steamroll an enemy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So.
But it's really all the fun. I mean, that's the thing. You're just like, maybe I'm just on a roll, and I get the jump on somebody.
This one is from you. It's from the Anarch.
Hey,
you / the Anarch. I mean, you wrote, I was super into the stress system for shifters like Merrick, but at the same time, I wish there was a way he could learn how to shift on command. It could act as a sub-race, and a very unique one at that. I'll speak first on this one since it's
you're all good. You're all good.
It's funny, like shifters, lycanthropes in general and Theria are handled very, very well. I think Jason has done a really good job with werewolves and that kind of thing. The shifters in Eberron are something that I'd like to see sort of integrated into Theria, but I imagine that'll take some time to sort of get into. That said, the thing that I want to talk about is your idea of introducing them as a new race like the Bion, because we saw the Bion being introduced. I know Jason's really trying to build more character options for building characters in Theria. So seeing something like the Bion in the but as a lycanthrope or as a shifter, that kind of thing, that could be really interesting. What exactly are your? Could you elaborate on what you said about that? About how you want to be a new race?
So partially, what I was thinking about are I don't know if it's been covered because I've missed some earlier episodes, but if shifters can end up procreating and creating young, that could heavily shift things. So someone who's born werewolf would be a completely different race of people. They might be a type of werewolf that can control that transformation of some sort, and I think that's a different feel than someone's cursed and now they have to deal with a certain system of it or some sort of like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that in other things like, I've come from a lineage of werewolves or something of that sort, and that's what I was thinking of with like sub race or subclasses or whatnot. It really just depends on if that is allowed or how it flows into the world of Theria in that regard.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I mean, werewolves are like one of my favorite things, and it's really hard to play one well when you don't have a system like stress or something of that sort. I played one in a Strahd campaign a while back, and I could shift on command, and there was a bit of homebrew involved where I was a half orc, but I was also cursed, so I just went kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's. I mean, it is interesting to think about like procreation, how that changes the rules of lycanthropy, because we don't talk about they don't talk about that a lot on the show for obvious reasons. I mean, it's an uncomfortable topic. I think it'd be cool to see how that's handled in Theria, but maybe we'll get more of that. Who knows?
Yeah, 100%.
We got one more on this topic, just about sort of tweaking rules in general. Owen Atkinson on the Facebook says, I experiment with the rules too. Right now I'm trying out terrain elevation, giving advantage or disadvantage depending on whether you're higher or lower than your target, which is cool. I mean, a big part of 5th edition is changing the rules around. I mean, a big part of D&D in general, as long as it's existed, has been screwing with the rules to make your own sort of game. And I think Jason is really into homebrewing rules and stuff. I mean, we see that a lot in the show.
And that idea, I mean, follows the path of like older D&Ds or Pathfinder, where you literally high ground gives you the better ability to hit a target.
Yeah. You got combat advantage in 3.5, which was a +2, I think, to your rolls. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's stuff like that, and that's So like seeing that system in 5e, that's really cool, Owen. Thanks for telling us about that. The next couple of comments we have are about Alara versus Talor, and I actually have to kind of apologize for this. I write the questions for the weekly discussions, and this one I wrote down back in December, and I didn't really think about it, but we have seen so much more of Alara than Talor that it's kind of a nonsensical question. But you guys gave us some really cool answers regardless. So let's take a look.
Yeah,
at those.
they're good.
So I'm the seventh again. He writes in, I feel like a huge campaign could be run in Westport that would be unlike any in the world. A DM who specializes in intrigue could knock it out of the park in a fan game. Yeah, we've seen
100%.
some of Westport now. Q, you have any thoughts on Westport?
Not off the top of my head. I'm bad at remembering names of city and maps. Westport is where the Overseers are, right
No,
now?
not the Overseers. Group
I'm not
Gray.
Overseer.
On the coast of Talor. Westport is the city with the Lion Folk and the Githzerai.
Yep. I'm combining two things in my head. Yeah. That entire place to me sounds like it would be great. Also, it kind of reminds me of I'm blanking out on their names again. Is it Overdale that I'm thinking about with the just back and forth between humans and other races, or with this case,
there was the Overwatch in Group 1.
Overwatch.
Where did I get Well, because Overdale was Overwatch was Overdale. And Xanon Carter took it over, and he started this xenophobic, race war, and that. Yeah,
it gives off that same feel, especially with these later episodes that have been happening with the Lion Folk and anyone else.
They're intense.
And so I could really see, especially even with what Jason has to deal now with the deals that are starting to be laid out, at the very least, just RP wise, just plethora of things to do.
Oh yeah, it's got potential. I mean, that's what a lot of the comments we got boiled down, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Westport and Talor as a whole have a lot of really cool potential. Jason set out a lot of really cool dominoes which can be knocked down by a player. So I think we'll see a lot of that hopefully in the coming months. Let's see. U/Morlith writes, so far I prefer Alara simply because it's more alive because we know more about it. But Talor and the others have a lot of potential to be very interesting, especially with the other new elements mixed in. A two-way war suddenly becomes a two-way with a, or perhaps multiple, neutral party war. You can go towards supporting one side or both, stealth missions, politics, etc., learning more about the races and reasons behind the wars. Good luck there. But Alara has more diversity and parties involved on what's going on and vacuums to fill, enough places to discover and lots of things happening. So yeah, Morlith is talking about like the potential for really cool adventures that we've seen in Talor so far, but we haven't actually like gotten to yet.
Yeah, that extrinsic value feel of a place that you haven't really gotten to discover through yet. And that's why, like, generally in this question, I think we talked about it a little bit, I'm more excited about Talor because we've explored Alara so much. So I'm just like, oh no, give me as much Talor as you can.
Yeah, something new, something fresh, you know.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, and there's something to be said for building upon, you know, layers and layers of history of storytelling, but Talor is, you know, something new is always exciting. So
exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. U/Rob of Wonder writes in, I like the potential of Talor, but we've barely scratched the surface. Alara has like an 800-hour head start plus a book in terms of content and development. However, Alara is a bit more of a traditional fantasy setting, so there's a lot of scope for Talor to really differentiate and be something fresh. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I don't think there's a single Dungeons and Dragons setting in which the Githzerai are native to the material plane. I think this is like the first one. And so like seeing how that setting changes them, that'll be interesting. I think the idea that Talor is not going to be traditional swords and sorcery is
really up in the air.
It's kind of up in the air right now. We have no evidence for that, but I can definitely see Jason taking it that way because he likes to play with genre and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing in the other group a little bit of, I mean, that mining thing I really wasn't expecting. Like when season 4 started out with that, I was like, this is different. So I could definitely see a good mix of cultural references to pull from, something of the sort. But I mean, yeah, like you said, a lot. I like the potential of Talor. It's very, very, very wide.
Yeah. Our next couple of answers are regarding the question that we put out about your favorite NPC. So why, who's your favorite NPC and why, etc. The first answer is just Rip Spanky from D.S. Williams. Thank
Is
you.
it spoilers if we say what happened? Is it spoilers?
I don't think so. I think
Rip.
I think we're past that point. And if you haven't listened to all of Group Overseer up to this point, then just skip 30 seconds or 45 seconds in the future. But yeah, go for it, Q.
That Spanky thing was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen.
It was very good. It was excellent.
And I was expecting like a trap switch and a blow up or something, something of the sort like that. But when he's just like, she just keeps looking down at it, I really didn't think much of it until it was and then a steak.
I mean, that's why Jacob put together. So for those of you who haven't seen, I don't know if it's up yet. Actually,
not yet. It's going to come to YouTube soon though.
It'll be on YouTube soon. But Jacob's going to put up an edit he put together of the reactions from the party when that happened, and it's
golden,
perfect choice. Yeah. So yeah, that's. Poor Spanky.
Rip Spanky.
U/book Dragon Horde says, I love Jerry and his sauces. I also want to see more of Harmon, if only so Linda can politely tell him to bugger off.
Oh man.
Yeah. A good story has a great villain. I think like a great villain can make or break a good story, and Harmon is. Yeah. We've only seen him sparingly. In fact, I think we've heard more characters talk about him than him. But
so far, yeah.
Yeah, but he's great. What do you think of Harmon Q?
I mean, he literally is that southern drawl villain that has the connections in the small city with the big town girl coming in. And I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I'm wondering to see where it goes. I'm wondering if it's going to be an all-out business thing or if maybe he has some connections to make it more of a physical thing. Yeah. Because, I mean, we haven't... There's... Hell, in general in this arc, there hasn't been much people-to-people fighting. So I'm really wondering what direction.
There hasn't been any combat that wasn't giant badgers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, outright, I think so. Like, other than those fighting pits that happened, which weren't really, like...
That's true.
Full initiative.
I was just thinking of Group Overseer and like just Group Overseer, but that's true. In Arc 4, besides the fighting pit, which wasn't an actual fight, it was a series of skill checks. There hasn't been any fighting against non-monsters. So you know, well, maybe that's it's which is not a criticism. It's just something that's true about this arc, and I think we'll see. If that continues, or I mean, if it's got to break eventually. The tension's got to bust. So
yeah, they're really talking the talk for this season for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Harmon threatened. He threatened sabotage against the Twin Oaks Mining Company. So and right now the party is all away. Like all of them are not in the mine.
The vicinity. Yeah.
They're off. They're at Newberry, the nearest city. So we'll see how that plays out.
Who takes care of the mine when Cave isn't there? Does Cave take care of the mine?
Bird, I think.
Yeah.
It's his bird.
Completely didn't even think about that.
Which many fans think, including myself, is his patron. But
that's what I was guessing as well.
It's kind of unclear. So I guess we'll find out.
We will.
Let's see. U/Aries0926 says Taz, which is the name of the owner of the Dwarven mining company. Taz Tinfinger or something, I think it is. But Taz from the Dwarven Mine Company is fantastic because I know this woman. In my hometown, there is a bluestone quarry and 99% of the workers are men. There is one I've met on a few occasions. Her arms have bigger muscles than me, and her hands are as rough as concrete. She has a strange British-Aussie accent that I can't place. The only major difference is the woman I know is about 6 feet, maybe taller. But otherwise, she's the same person.
Oh, man.
That really is a very good...
I'm wondering what hometown you're from where... you have a bluestone quarry and a large British Aussie accent that you can't place.
Yeah, I was going to say, those two things don't go into... I mean, she could be an immigrant, though, or something, I suppose.
True.
But I just... That's not... Yeah, those two things aren't often found together.
Yeah, a female miner who is over 6 feet and is British Aussie. Yeah, I don't... You don't see that every day, at the very least. But, Taz is a great character, and she seems very nice, and I'm wondering if... how much they might explore that alliance. I mean, we got just a taste of it, but she seems all right and a very nice character, and she also hates Harmon. So, I mean, that might work for some good backup, especially if the party explores outside of the cave proper.
Yeah, she didn't seem very keen on helping them unless it served her self-interest. Like, she was like, yeah, I'll give you information, but, like, I can't do anything. You're on your own, you know?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it'll be like she's a resource that they might be able to draw on. We'll find out, I guess. She's a good character, though. I agree with you, Aries. She's definitely a fantastic character to have on call. The Aaron Pruis on Twitter said the same thing. The dwarven contact at the next mine over in Group Overseer. I'm terrible for spacing on her name. Please don't hate me. To be fair, it's a weird name. She is funny, serious, and is always cutting through the bull to get directly to the shit of the matter. Yeah, she's very forward. That's true.
100%.
I feel like we have a lot of characters in Theria, and this might be just how Jason likes to write characters, that like to sort of insinuate and imply and dance around issues, and there aren't a lot that are just like, here's the problem, here's my solution, but do whatever you want, like, you know. And that's What do you think about that?
I mean, have been a lot of evil NPCs, so they kind of go around the point a little bit. But, most people, I mean, in Arc 2 and Arc 3, I mean, you kind of had some God context, and they couldn't be as direct as they wanted That's to true, in certain time. So it depends on the situation, but no, I think you're pretty much on the mark. It's a lot of dancing around the point, not a lot of just telling you what it is and how to fix it. But that's not a bad thing. That's the mystery of what it is.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's a breath of fresh air when you get a character that's so straightforward, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, let's see.
I see one here.
Yeah.
I just want to say, /signing saint 222. Anyone that doesn't say Jerry is an asshat, and we all need more sauces. And
yes,
I mean,
I think that was the next one on my list. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
That was literally the next one on my list.
I was like, I hop on that train. The sauce boss Jerry himself is just the nicest boy, and I just feel like he just needs some help from time to time.
He's so earnest. He's trying so hard to be an asset, and he's not. He's making everything.
He's definitely
worse.
not. Oh yeah, he's definitely not an asset. I mean, I will say this: the group kind of did it to themselves. Jason did never once did he say the aspects have to be negative, and they all chose negative aspects.
Well, not negative necessarily. Like one of the characters is ADHD, and another is OCD, and Jason played it for comedy.
Yeah,
those aren't inherently negative, but
not negative as in like they're bad or the people are bad or they just kill people randomly.
Just not conducive to a good work environment.
Yeah, negative is in like you could choose like a hard-working, like always on time. And he's like, no, we chose people that are real, but aren't conducive to work environment that you said.
Yeah, I mean that they do feel real. I've known a genie, like I know Genie. I think we all have. So.
I think I thankfully haven't met a Jerry yet, but I mean, I have years. I have years to find that.
I don't know anyone as bad as Jerry, but I've met a few Jerrys.
Oh man.
Putting that aside, so that's all the comments that we have for this week. But unless you want to bring up any Q that you've noticed are particularly juicy to talk about. But.
No, I think we've covered like everything. Cool. Yeah, we breezed through them pretty fast, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm trying to keep the videos under half an hour because I don't want anybody to listen or look at me for that long.
I concur.
So yeah, we'll be back at the end of February to talk about the weekly recaps, the weekly discussions for February. We'll see all of you guys then. Keep talking on the Reddit. Send us messages on Twitter, Facebook. That kind of thing. We check all of them. And if you want to have your comments on the show, just tell us what you think of whatever we're talking about that week, and we'll see if we can't get it on here. So yeah, see you all next week month then.
Yeah, next month. See you guys.